Alright, it's time to decorate my pumpkin cake. At the bottom of my cake board, I'm just going to add a little bit of frosting to keep my first layer of cake right where I want it to be. And then I'm spreading a thin layer of cream cheese frosting in the middle of the two layers. This cake was a 15 centimeters, so I only had two layers that I had to decorate. Now, what you will notice from my other videos in this one, I usually do this with my piping bag. I will fill up the piping bag, start from the bottom, and just put the icing or the frosting on my cake from bottom to top, and that has worked perfectly for me. But for some reason, I wanted to do it differently this time. I've seen so many decorators just using the spatulas, and I have to tell you, I do prefer my piping bag method, but I had fun decorating this cake. Right now I'm just going around my cake, giving it a nice and thin layer for crumb coat, which when I'm done, going into the freezer 10 to 15 minutes. When I take it out, I'm putting my cake disc right on top and then spreading an even layer right around that cake disc as well. Usually the cake will be nice enough for you to touch the cake without the frosting sticking to your hands before you put the cake disc on. And I also use the piping bag method. This time I decided to do it with the spatula by taking my cake scraper now and going around to smooth it. The cake disc just give you that even layer frosting right around your cake, and it helps me smooth out the cake just to start off with. And then when I've got my cake disc or my cake smooth out by my disc, I drop my cake right back in the freezer again. And I had no idea what to do with the decoration. This cake just, once something popped into my head, I did it. So I decided to do some orange, and I just took a little bit of frosting and decorated or tinted it with orange color. Now next, I'm taking off my cake disc. Now you can use a paring knife or you can use a spatula. Just drop it in a little bit of warm water. Place it in between the cake disc and your cake. And perfect, it comes off so smoothly. And then just add a little bit of frosting on top again. Pull in that sides towards you. And you have a perfectly, well, more or less a perfectly sharp edge if you put a little bit more effort in it. This cake was definitely more about the tasting than the decoration. So I went in with just spatulas or splashes of frosting, orange frosting everywhere. Not an idea what I wanted to do, and I ended up just making it blend in with the cake, and use the same method with my spatula as I did on top, and I felt that was perfect because this cake was definitely more about the tasting of the cake than the decoration. But for an easy decoration, that took me about 10 or so minutes, and I was perfectly happy with that. So if you would like the recipe to this easy pumpkin cake, just head over to my website and I will leave it in the description box.